Fucking yo! How's going, everybody? Thirsty Thursday. Tim Wilms, you're back again. I can't scare you off.
Yep, and it's a bit of a late one. It's currently, 9:45 p.m. Melbourne time, so we're an hour and 15 minutes late. It's an hour earlier there. You had some after-work things to deal with. It's been, what a wild day with all the news. We had the, COVID hotel quarantine worker case scare last night with Dan Andrews holding his late night press conference. But thankfully, he didn't do a Palachuk or Emperor McGowan and locked us down for 3-5 days or whatever number of days they pull out of a hat. So we're just going what he calls the Black Rock outbreak rules that we had at the beginning of the year, which is basically home visitors half to 15 per day and masks in all indoor settings again. But there were a hotel quarantine support worker, and they'd spent the weekend out in the community at various shops in the southeastern suburbs, including at a few golf places. They were a keen golfer, and they were also a CFA volunteer. But so far, they haven't infected any of their close contacts, which is good. The Perth hotel quarantine security guard hasn't infected any of their close contacts, but
so he's got the COVID and he's fucking playing golf like Donald Trump and going and having beers with the boys, getting amongst it. COVID sounds like it's a fucking giving this bloke new life.
Well, so far he hasn't spread it to anyone. The Perth security guard didn't, and the cleaner in Queensland that triggered your fun 3-day lockdown, long weekend, Palachuk called it, where you had to wear a mask in the car.
Yeah, that was fucking insane. Like it.
The cleaner only infected their partner. So, and these are all the super strains. Well, we don't know yet if this hotel quarantine worker in Melbourne has the super strain, but it's supposedly 70% more transmissible. And so far, when it's escaped hotel quarantine in Australia, it's infected one person, a intimate partner.
Fuck yeah. He's done all right, this bloke. He's handled it like a champion. You know what I mean? Just fucking... He's got on it with the missus after a big game of golf and getting on the piss with the boys. He's come home and, just infected the missus, and that's it. If I get it, Tim, I'm going to be a super spreader. I'll be on fucking... They have to lock down all Queensland by the time I'm done.
Well, we know where these people who got it from hotel quarantine have been because of the exposure sites. And everyone freaks out when it's like, oh, they went to Kmart on this day, Woolies on this day, they went to here, and here. Oh, they interacted with thousands, yet they don't find any more cases. So I'm wondering... this super strain hypothesis that they've come up with, it could be, remember the South Australia Pizzagate lockdown? They based the UK variant that was being transmitted on pizza boxes because they got misled by the security guard who claimed he only picked up a pizza when he actually was working at the pizza restaurant.
Fucking hell, I can't believe it. There you go. You need to have the hand sanitizer everywhere, Tim. That's all you can do. Just everywhere you go, constantly dipping your hands in it, fucking drinking it. Go ham.
Oh, don't forget masks as well. We had a god doctor over in the US, Dr. Fauci, claim that double masking is just common sense, but he confessed this week there's no evidence to back it up. But if it makes you feel better, do it.
Yeah, well, what about this, Fauci? Just bang, fucking walk around. I should have done that when they asked me to wear a mask, eh? Just fucking rocked my hat and just gone, yeah, boys, I'm fucking ready to go. Way more effective than a mask.
Well, luckily, you're not an anti-masker in Perth because, well, there was that guy who was actually arrested for not wearing a mask, and he's been denied bail and will appear in court on the 17th of February. How's that?
Yeah, it's fucking retarded. Did you see the post? Like, there was some meme going around, and it was the dude in Perth who got whatever locked up for not wearing a mask.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
And yeah, and then it said there was like someone must have cut another incident. It's like some rape in Townsville, some rapist, and they're like, he was released on bail the day after. And I was just like, it's quite clever that someone had cut the two, cases and put them together and just seeing side by side. Here's this bloke who's like, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Gets locked up to his court case, and this cunt is, accused of being a rapist. And he gets to fucking walk free to his court case.
But there was that fatal car accident last week.
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, in Brisbane by that youth, that youth who'd been charged and granted bail.
And he killed the bloke, his missus, and they were pregnant with a baby.
Yeah, as well.
And is it like my missus told me that, and I'm like, is he getting like a triple homicide? Is he getting charged for murdering the baby? Like Anastasia Palaszczuk would not recognize that as a potential living human being, Tim,
Yeah, it's interesting there that that he's also being charged, that driver, with the death of the unborn. But if the woman chooses to kill her own baby, then that's choice.
Yeah, you can murder your own child in the womb, but some fucking idiot kills everyone, the baby. It's all good, mate. Not a drama. I'm pretty sure. I think they might be. They are charging him with 3 murders, right? I
think the charge is culpable driving, which is
being a fucking
which is driving causing death.
Yeah, hard out. Fucking hell. What else?
I'll just remind the audience that as we did last week, simulcasting this not just on the Dusty Bogan channel, but also the Unshackled channel, and as I do with all of my Unshackled Productions, is open the entropy link. I've put that in there, the Unshackled YouTube chat, where you can ask a question or send through a super chat to support this stream and all the work that we do.
Bloody oath. Well done. And how's entropy working for you? People chuck your super chat in there every now and then, or what?
Well, obviously with the COVID restrictions that we've and lockdowns that we've had over the past year,
the belt,
and
they're buying more beers, and they're like, fuck.
Yeah, but we still get the occasional super contribution from our most loyal followers.
UT, that's good as hell. You need to strap a fucking beer bong to that wall of yours, Tim, like me, and just do these ones. Just be like, fuck, every time one of them super chats come through or whatever you fucking call them, just rock a beer bong, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just take a sip of my cider. It's not. You'd have to come down to. I think you can come down to Melbourne as of right now if you chose.
Oh yeah.
You had the Palachuk didn't speak today. You had I call her Yvette Daft, the health minister of Queensland, who told you to wear a mask in your car. Said that we're just urging people to reconsider travel to Melbourne at the moment, and if you've come from Melbourne to Brisbane, get a COVID test, isolate.
And our health minister, she doesn't look very healthy. You know what I mean? Why do they choose these zombies? Like, get some PT, get some young doctor who's like fit, looks after himself, or she looks after herself. She's telling me about all this shit, and I'll be like, I'm convinced. It's like going to a fucking obese personal trainer with these people. They're not very convincing.
Well, before your state election last year, Stephen Miles, the deputy premier, he was the health minister.
He was a bit more convincing. He looked like he probably looked after himself, you know?
Yeah, you know that he's actually a doctor. He's got a PhD in trade unionism.
There you go.
So he's a doctor, but not a medical doctor.
Yeah, not a medical doctor. In trade unionism, you can get a doctorate in that, can you? That's the state of our universities.
Yeah, he's one of those ultimate labor nerds, as I call them. What is that? They're at the federal level. I think he's the MP for Canberra, Andrew Giles. He's got a PhD in, I think, economics, which is surprising given that he is a Labor MP. I mean, he should understand that if you put all these new taxes on people, that's going to have a detrimental impact on economic activity.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Is that your Bing that keeps going
Sorry,
off?
I need to, I'm restarting I got to read my fucking D-Live comments aren't coming up, so I got to sort that out. Because last week we didn't do I didn't do my D-Live, so I better get back on that bandwagon, you know what I mean? Because they've demonetized me and all that, but I gotta keep going with the D-Live until I get Trovo sorted out. That's my next mission. Talking about your taxes. There's apparently though, like I was reading an article about McDonald's in America. They're saying how they're not concerned about the rise of the minimum wage over there now, which is kind of funny. Like, you know, this is a strange thing about, I guess, the American economy. We don't have it over here, but when I went to America, there was all these sweet jobs that just cannot exist in Australia because it's like if they don't have a minimum wage or it's much lower, there's all these sweet jobs like there's all these guys like you go to the bloody you go to your hotel and there's like a there's like valet parking, you know what I mean? They'll be like, "How you going, mate? We'll take your car. We'll park your car for you." All this shit. And you're like, "Whoa, or some dude taking your bag up to the room for you." And you're like, "Holy shit, how?" And there's so many of these people just everywhere. You know what I mean? Or you go to a restaurant or you go to a cheap diner and they'll like come and serve you like awesomely. And you're like, "What the fuck?" We get terrible service over here. We get none of these things. And we have all these dull bludgers. We have all these people who are priced out of the economy. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, you can't get a $10 an hour job.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. But there's a lot of people who work at McDonald's and those other low-skilled jobs do good customer service. Of course, you're going to have some horrible ones, but you've highlighted in your own way the problem with our high minimum wage. If you're lucky enough to get a minimum wage job, our minimum wage is something like it's close to $20 an hour. Yeah. It's extremely high. Like you can live a comfortable life in Australia on minimum wage, but it's so hard to crack into the job market that people are stuck on. It's not called New Start anymore. It's called Job Seeker because it's so hard to break in because of that high minimum wage. But yeah, you can literally over in the States just turn up with your resume and they say you're hired.
Fucking oath. You imagine like, look, Tim, it's bucketed down with rain this week. Now, if I could pay some bloke and be like, "Yeah, mate, $100 a month, come fucking clean my pool, $100 a month," and I go give the dude, maybe he does 2 hours a week. You know what I mean? Less than that. If I could say, right, mate, if there was no minimum wage, there could be all these other jobs, you know what I mean? That are like, they seem to be, shit paying jobs. But you know what? Would you prefer a $10 an hour job and all these new opportunities that would arise, or would you prefer to be on the dole? You know, like, there should be a way that our government could incentivize this. There's like so many opportunities in that lower end of the economy for these people who are rotting on the dole, and probably people who have a bit of mental health problems or some injuries, and they're like, fuck. You know, I've met heaps of concreters who just get busted out of the workplace and they can't do it. They've got back injuries and there's no jobs for them. But they could do some fucking piss-ass job. Like come and cleaning my pool, and I'd be like, yeah, mate, $100 a month. Bang. Come do 80 hours a month. 2 hours a week. They do everyone on the street with a swimming pool. The bloke's making more money than, you know what I mean?
Or underpayment now is called, which is what you'd be doing, even if you engaged in this voluntary transaction, but paid below minimum wage. It's now not called underpayment. It's called wage theft. And I think even Christian Porter, the Industrial Relations Minister, has succumbed to the union demands to actually have criminal penalties for wage theft. Because remember that, his empire's collapsed, that Master Chef Judge George Calombaras, and because obviously the fact that it had been demonstrated that he had either intentionally or unintentionally underpaid his workers, that got so much negative publicity that, they all ended up quitting Master Chef. Though he's back on, I think. No, Calombaris is not on. What is that? Plate of Origin. That's a new show. I think they've got, was it Matt Preston and the other chef with Manu, who was on My Kitchen Rules. So they've got rid of Calombaris from the TV. The same time they've got rid of Pete Evans from the TV as well.
Yep, hard out. And how's our mate Pete? Is it Peter Evans, the original fucking Australian famous chef? Is that dude? The anti-vaxxer?
Oh, well, COVID, you'd say COVID skeptic.
COVID skeptic. What a legend. I think I'm a bit of a COVID skeptic. I think I'm more of a authoritarian, like if they told me it was voluntary to wear a mask, I'd be more inclined to wear a mask. You know what I mean? They forced me to wear it, and I was like, I'm not going to wear it. But if they voluntarily said wear it, there'll be some situations where I'd consider it. Like, I don't know, surrounded by old people or some shit, or if I felt a little bit sick.
I've always been a big fan of the social distancing, which is actually way more effective than a mask will ever be, because there's plenty of people I want to keep my distance from out in public.
That's right.
I'm a person who enjoys my own personal space.
Sorry, Tim, my D Live just started working again. The comment section, fuck yeah, keen as to be back on the D Live. No fooling. Thanks for tuning in, brother. He's in the comment section there. What's he say? The original minimum wage laws in the US were racist and meant to squeeze out small companies hiring black people willing to work for less. That's what No Fooling reckons.
Yeah, there is that. It's a proven fact that a high minimum wage disproportionately disadvantages racial minority communities, though I don't believe that it's some sort of like racist plot by the people putting high minimum wage. You could maybe argue in the era of
mistake.
You could You could argue in the era of Jim Crow in the US in the 1930s and 40s that, yeah, minimum wage was a deliberate thing to keep blacks out of the workforce. On my entropy, there's already a few questions. Savage Nobles and Merry Peasants, he regularly puts in questions to Trad Tasman Talk, which I host with New Zealander Due de Boer, has said, how about job theft? Raises in minimum wage lost my apprenticeship. They're robbing the young, disabled, and old explicitly. Good on you guys. Good point, Savage Nobles. And I noticed in my chat, Savnik has said, taxation is wage theft. Our government should be charged with criminal offences. You know, there was an anarcho-capitalist hat, taxation is theft, or make taxation theft again.
That's what No Foolin wrote here too. He says wage theft is the tax I pay. That's so true. I reckon, Tim, I reckon, bro, when I get come tax time and I'll be like, yay, I just got this great deal with censored.tv. You know, they're paying me pretty well to make an episode a week for them. And I bet you, dude, I'll go to tax time and they'll be like, fucking, here's your massive bill. And I'll be like, what? Like, why? Why do you fucking bother? They'll take 50 cents in the dollar, I reckon.
And we've also got it's a statement, not a question from Binary Gender. I think Dusty's chat needs a mod. Yeah, it's not called Dusty's Wild West for a reason. You have all sorts of crazy comments that'll probably be used against you in the future.
I know. I've always had a bit of a let things slide and go a little bit crazy, right? Just bring the randoms on, let the comment section go a bit crazy.
Well, I've always thought it's a bad idea to give nobodies a platform. Like, if they've got some sort of profile, consider going into a virtual combat with them on a live stream. But if there's some random, probably drunk in the chat, no. So don't give them the time of the day.
Nothing to lose. Like, it's true. Like, these people have nothing to lose or whatever. So it's like they can come onto your live stream and then fucking they don't give a fuck if your channel gets taken down or a strike against it. Like, what's it to them?
Well, you've had your channel demonetized.
I'm hanging on by a thread, Tim Wilms. But there's always I'll never give up, you know what I mean? I'll be here annoying the shit out of the system until they nail me to the cross or I die of old age, Tim. So,
a lot of the social media people working in there and the people who don't like you and the types of Christina Keneally are doing their best to make sure that happens.
Oh, I know. Aren't these people just so strange with their they're looking for a devil under every rock, Tim, and anyone they disagree with is now we used to be like bigots and racist and homophobes and transphobe and all the climate change denialists. We were called all these names. Now they want to call us terrorists for our opinions, Tim. You can't have an opinion. You can't go have a beer with your mates.
Yeah, you can't form a club or anything like that.
Yeah, you can't go have a genuine peaceful protest. I've only ever been to a peaceful protest. I've never seen anything wild happen.
And you've when you say peaceful protest, you're not referring to a mostly peaceful protest, which is code for a violent protest.
Legitimately,
because peaceful means it's peaceful. Mostly peaceful means it's a riot and there's looting and things on fire and violence and people being attacked.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
The good thing is, Tim, I know we'll never stop. We're never gonna stop. You know what I mean? They've deplatformed me that many times off the Facebook and Instagram and demonetized me and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, what's going to happen? You're so afraid of some Bogan some Bogan with
Yeah, weren't you called a Christo-fascist a couple of years back?
Yeah, it's really funny, man. The other day, my mum rocked up to my house and she's like, I just read an article about you. And she was reading the article, the Guardian article about me, the hit piece. And I was like, Mum, it's like 2 years old. Where have you been? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I showed you this. And I was like boasting about it and smiling and being like, yay, I'm famous. She probably thought it was a big joke because I was smiling. She probably thought they said something nice about me. You know what I mean? And then now she's like, I bet you it was like one of her stupid friends. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. She's like, she goes, it says here that you interviewed a white supremacist, which is Blair Cottrell. I don't know what Blair thinks. I was happy enough to give the guy an interview, right? And it's so funny. I said to my mum, I'm like, I said, so are they alluding that I'm a white supremacist because I interviewed Blair? And she's like, that's what it sounds like. And I said, at the same conference I was at, I interviewed Warren Mundine, the Aboriginal. I said, am I an Aboriginal, Mum, because I interviewed Warren? No, you're not an Aboriginal. I said, oh, okay. Maybe I'm not a white supremacist either.
Yes, but it's considered especially egregious to platform people such as Blair Cottrell when this is because on my Wilms Front show last year, I interviewed Craig Kelly and George Christensen, and so they say, oh, they did interviews with a website that has platformed neo-Nazis, and George Christensen had the best response at the time, saying you don't catch extremism. And this was a quote he gave to the New Daily, and he said, just like I haven't caught socialism by providing the New Daily with this quote.
Yeah. You don't catch what? Extremism.
Yeah. Does that mean because Sarah Ferguson, the ABC reporter, she interviewed the Proud Boy chair Enrique Tarrio about the downfall, as she called it, of Donald Trump, and she was accused of platforming an extremist. So, yeah, Sarah Ferguson from the ABC, she's just as bad as all of us. Anyone Sarah Ferguson interviews in the future, they should be tainted with the extremism link. And she also in 2018 interviewed Steve Bannon. So she's getting around to platforming so many of these people.
It's never going to end. And this is the beauty of it, Tim. I can't wait when it all falls on them. Like, I remember the last federal election, right? And they were like, oh my God, all these things about racism and sexism and homophobia, all this bullshit. And then it like came to election time and the Greens and the Labor Party had to drop so many of their candidates because they went through their fucking Instagrams and Twitters and Facebooks, and they were like, he said a dirty joke 10 years ago with one of his high school mates, and they had to drop their candidates. You know, they're no longer going to be a candidate. So what are we going to do, Tim? We're going to have to, there'll be no TV anymore because the whole world of imperfect people out there who are fucking telling jokes and memes, and they're a little bit cheeky. You know what I mean? Like, every bloke out there with a woman is probably got her because he was a bit cheeky. Every Sheila out there who's like looking down their noses at us, they're fucking on the high horse, you know, how woke they are and shit. I'm telling you, they've got a bloke who's probably picked them up with a dirty joke, Tim, and they loved it. So, you know, they were a little bit cheeky. So these all these people are hypocrites. They're fucking liars.
We mentioned Chef Pete Evans before. He and Craig Kelly, MP, pretty much broke, as they're called, the blue drops on Twitter, the lefty rages and triggered folk on Twitter by Craig Kelly did a podcast with Pete Evans, and remember Tanya Plibersek. She confronted Craig Kelly over the spread of his dangerous conspiracies or misinformation, when all he's done on his Facebook page is talk about how hydroxychloroquine and Invamec can treat coronavirus. Craig Kelly is not an anti-vaxxer. I mean, asking for more information about the vaccines, their efficacy, and the potential side effects. You have to remember that our Therapeutic Goods Administration has only approved one vaccine so far, the Pfizer one, because they haven't approved the Oxford AstraZeneca one. Does that mean because they haven't approved it right away, does that mean the TGA are anti-vaxxers? Because they're considering all of these, all of the benefits and the potential side effects from it. Like is sort of saying we need more information about the vaccines. We need to investigate these side effects or deaths. Does that make you an anti-vaxxer? I'm open to taking a coronavirus vaccine if there are no side effects or death, and it is proven to prevent transmission, which is like, obviously I don't think a vaccine is necessary, but I'm like prepared to cop one, one
if it's gonna work and it's not gonna give you a side effect. Seems pretty fucking reasonable, right?
It's not gonna make you do ish.
It's gonna fuck you up in a few years down the track. Who knows? Like, let a billion people. Why don't the billion? There's like all these people who are so keen on the vaccine and like, oh my god, I'm so keen to get it. And the fucking 5% of us or 10%. I don't know what it is. Maybe what percentage of people do you think don't want the vaccine? Is it 5 or 10% of us who are skeptical? It's not like a huge deal, right? It's not a great amount.
You're right to describe us as skeptics, because you and I haven't said, no way, we're never taking one ever. Mm-hmm. I know people like that, and that's their right. Mandatory vaccines are so wrong, as is any type of coerced medical procedure. And well, we've seen over in China there with their enhanced PCR tests, they're anally violating also their own citizens, including minors, because they claim that the anal swabs make the PCR tests more accurate. Thankfully, it hasn't taken off in Victoria or Western Australia yet, even though the WA Public Health Act says that you can remove a person's underwear to administer a medical procedure.
There you go. They're getting ready to give the old swab. Then we'll have all these filthy Western Australians migrating to Queensland. We're already you can't even rent a house in this state anymore. There's that many people moving here.
In Queensland. Yeah, I saw the September quarter migration figures between the states. Everyone's going to Queensland. I would recommend they not go to Brisbane, because Palachuk and Jeanette Young could lock you down. But anywhere else in Queensland, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, not Ipswich, Toowoomba, Mackay, where you'd have George Christensen, as a local member, that'd be pretty cool. Rockhampton, Cairns, Townville. Have you heard because we've had, what is it? There's been a hotel quarantine virus escape in every major city now. There's now a real hard push to have the remote quarantine camps. There was Palachuk, she wanted one in Gladstone, a mining camp, and now there's talk about putting one in Toowoomba. I think it's going to happen, these quarantine camps.
Oh, yeah. I won't be surprised.
Because everyone,
little fucking concentration camp that they've dreamt of, all these crazy, all these, all socialism goes down the same track, Tim. And it'll be the fucking COVID exclusion camp, or whatever the fuck they call it, will turn into like a re-education camp. You know what I mean? And maybe I could get my terror, because I have an opinion and I want to have a beer with the boys and I want to fucking go to maybe a protest if there's some policy I don't agree with. I might need to get re-educated. You know what I mean? Send me to one of these special fucking camps.
Well, given that the amount of pro CCP politicians that we have in Australia, they've been quite silent on the Uyghur Muslim re-education / concentration camps, and they seem to want to emulate China as much as possible. I think it was Laura Loomer, who's a prominent US political dissident. She's Jewish herself. She's fearing that what's next is concentration camps for conservatives.
Oh, re-education camps, Tim. It's just to get re-educated into how to be a good boy or girl. You know what I mean?
There are infinite genders.
They'll give us our minimum wage. They'll be like, we're increasing the minimum wage, Tim, but then they're going to tax you 50% of it anyway. So we're back at square one anyway, Tim.
So we'll come out with NPC masks on, just repeating all of the mainstream talking points.
Yeah. Don't they like get you? They'll make you like write assignments and shit. I read something they were saying like in the Soviets used to do it, and the Chinese they'd make you like write out assignments and say why I was wrong. My opinion was wrong. If you do a good job, they'll give you like extra food or whatever.
They'll give you a few extra grains of rice.
Oh, mate. And this is like what's fucking happening now. Like they're just brainwashing people. And it's like, you have to we've got our social credit system, Tim, in full effect. Like more than China or equivalent to China. Because if you're not a good little boy and you're not agreeing with everything they say and getting your pat on the head, you're going to get punished. You naughty boy and girl, you know?
Well, we've seen this week a couple of the woke warriors being in hot water. Andrew O'Keefe, a white ribbon anti-domestic violence ambassador, got an Australia Day award, charged with domestic violence, and Eddie Maguire, the racism report that he commissioned, has said that Collingwood is very racist and has had over 50 years of racism. And he's had to say, because he initially said when the report got leaked, it's a proud day for the club because we're confronting this, putting it out in the open. And then he said, oh, I got my words wrong. And don't forget Eddie's own history with some of his comments.
It's all so funny, like all these heroes, you know what I mean? All the heroes, these people. I liked Andrew O'Keefe. I watched Deal or No Deal, man, in the afternoon.
Well,
show.
But when he started hosting, Weekend Sunrise and the morning show, his smug SJW politics came forth. He probably should have just stuck to game shows.
He should have stuck to the game shows. I mean, Andrew O'Keefe, when it came to Deal or No Deal, I was like, this dude's a legend. He was on fire. And then I don't know what happened to him, Tim. Like, did he convert to Islam and just like have to fucking giving out the Sharia law to the missus? Or maybe he's like believes in true gender equality and he just thought, you're just like one of the boys. Just fucking gave her a few to the chin and
allegedly. This is all
allegedly,
yeah.
Allegedly, she was getting a bit lippy, like one of the boys. You know, it was like she was acting like one of the boys, and he was like equality.
Oh well, we don't know. I don't think it's appropriate to sort of speculate on.
I'm just
what
saying
went down.
that, like, in the world of gender equality, or maybe he's a Muslim. Like, I'm not going to assume that he's not like believer in Islam or Sharia law, and like in that
getting
culture,
off on well, yeah, you get it. Andrew O'Keefe's not a Muslim,
but he could be, Tim. Why would I like assume?
No, you're getting into hypothetical speculation.
But I don't assume like people's genders, and I don't assume people's religious orientation either. So, like,
religious orientation. That's a new one.
Yeah, his religious, I don't know, belief structures. You know what I mean? Like, so he might be a Muslim. He might in his culture, in this multicultural nation that is, you know, the last 5 years, this multiculturalism has just totally enriched this nation. And maybe O'Keefe is a closet Muslim. Maybe he's given a Sharia law.
No. That's stupid. Maybe it's stupid speculation.
I don't know, Tim.
So Eddie Maguire commissioned this racism report at Collingwood Football Club because a former player, Harriet Lumumba, I think that's his name. He used to be known as Harry O'Brien, but he changed his name back to his traditional name. He's retired now, but he's one of the biggest SJW activists offended by everything's sexist, racist, and homophobic. The actual incident which led him to, well, both him spit the dummy at Collingwood and them to have enough of him was he was triggered because there was a picture of some of the Collingwood players. They were all looking quite made up and that, and somebody had like written on top of that, "Off to the Mardi Gras boys," like a bit of a joke, or you look quite gay with all that makeup on, and he thought this was very homophobic, and the rest of the club was just sick of his SJWism now. And I'm not sure if he was still known as is it referred to as dead naming if I refer to him as then Harry O'Brien? Because have you heard of this thing that if you call a trans person by their previous name, dead naming? I'm not sure if it works. If he's changed his name from his white name back to his what he deems his traditional name, but he finished his career at Melbourne Football Club as Harriet Lumumba now. And Eddie, he commissioned this report by two racial warriors, and so of course they're going to find heaps of racism in Collingwood.
I mean, what kind of racism are they finding? Like a few jokes or something? Banter? People sledging each other, winding each other fucking up.
Allegedly, Harriet Lumumba, when he was Harry O'Brien, was nicknamed Chimp at the club.
Oh, right. Yeah. Maybe it was Champ. Maybe they called him Champ and then he just like misheard them. It's just a complete misunderstanding. Eddie Maguire's off the hook. Like, he did nothing wrong. It was a bit of banter with the boys. He said he was pissed. They're pissed drunk. Everyone's drunk in the crowd. They're on the beers. And they're like, go the fucking Pelicans. What are they called? The Magpies? I don't know.
Magpies. Yeah, I think you should call it now. I think you should call it with the wild speculation now. You just go off into...
This is the world we live in, Tim. We might as well. What am I doing different than the mainstream media does every day? What am I doing differently? Champ? What am I doing, Champ? And you
that's
Champ. You heard Champ. Now, is that my fault? That's not my
plausible.
fault. I've had a few beers under the belt. You're a real chimp, Tim. Champ. Whatever. No one.
So you're saying that Harriet Lumumba, when he was Harry O'Brien, misheard?
Maybe he misheard. And this is the thing about Australian culture. Once you take the bait, yo, Champ, good on you, Champ. And then he's like, hey, he called me Chimp. And then next minute, everyone piles on. Champ. What
is that? I remember that Carl Stefanovic, back when he was more politically incorrect, got into trouble for asking some Indian cricket supporters during the Cricket World Cup, who's manning the 7-Elevens today. And the Indian fans responded, "Oh, well, since we're playing Australia, Centrelink's probably going to be quite empty." like they just did a jibe back, but of course,
that's good. Good on them.
The professional
banter, you're testing each other's metal, and now you're like, you're right. now let's play some cricket. You know what I mean? Like that was the world we grew up in.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate this summer that the Indian cricket team made those false racist allegations against members of the Sydney Cricket Ground crowd.
Did they turn out to genuinely be false, or what?
Yes, they were cleared. All these fans.
They were cleared.
Yeah, they even interviewed Indian cricket fans around them and said, yeah, they said nothing racist. Or what was racist to them, I should say.
They were just like, champ. And it was a simple misunderstanding. And then they jump on the bandwagon because this is the climate we live in, where we're fucking... You can virtue signal just by saying, like, you're the fucking racist, you've done this wrong. I'm the social justice warrior. And now this is the currency we have. We all know this. So it doesn't matter if you're fucking right or wrong. That's like what I'm going to do. Like, as soon as you can be a complete fuckwit, carry on like a pork chop, rude, like negative tone, bad to everyone. People start turning on you and just be like, you're a fucking racist. And just make some outrageous allegation, whatever.
Well, it seems the label of the 2020s is far right extremist now. I was mentioning Christina Keneally before. She had a bit of a embarrassment today when her far right extremism motion in the Senate was amended by the government to condemn communists, anarchists, and far left extremists as well. But she even declared Craig Kelly a far right extremist for being on Pete Evans' podcast. Yes, here it is here. And she was also upset Keneally that the new immigration minister, Alex Hawke, denied that extremism was on the rise. So this was the edit here of this was written by Paul Karp in the Guardian here.
Yeah, fucking go.
Yeah, so it was deleted to say to move that the Senate notes that Australia is one of the most successful multicultural countries in the world. Far right and far left extremism cultivated through its overlap with various conspiracy theories, which have become a common tool to radicalize individuals, especially through misinformation on social media. It crosses out far right here and says extremism in all its form tears apart the social fabric of Australia, in particular across our multicultural communities. Condemns, and they crossed out here, members for Hughes and Dawson, that's Craig Kelly and George Christensen, condemns promotion of a range of conspiracy theories and misinformation campaigns by far right and far left extremists. And it mentions the actual self-proclaimed Nazis, the National Socialist Network, an Australian neo-Nazi organisation which caused fear amongst communities and Grampians on both Australia Day and International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and all other, and crosses out far right, crosses out far right there, all other extremist groups which seek to promote fascism, communism, anarchism, violence and bigotry in our community. Most of the fascism, communism, anarchism, and violence and bigotry I see comes from the far left.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Expresses its support for all Australians, particularly multicultural, ethnic, religious, and First Nation Australians who are vilified by, crosses out far right, extremists, and crosses all this out, calls on the Prime Minister to take action to combat the spread of far-right extremism within their party and the broader community. So it now reads, the Senate reaffirms that there is no place in the Australian community for any individual group who seeks to promote disharmony. Yeah, so they totally gutted the Morrison government in the Senate, Christina Keneally's motion, and yeah. I'll
they made it quite reasonable. Cheers to that.
Yeah, so it didn't turn out to be it didn't turn out to be a good name. She's now referred to as Christina Karen Keneally because I'm not sure if you've seen her hair. She does look quite the Karen, and she did snitch on Tony Abbott during the Northern Beaches lockdown because apparently he stopped for a coffee when he was on a bike ride in between the Northern Beaches zones.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't.
Probably wearing his fucking budgie smugglers.
Yeah, I can't take credit for coining the name Christina Karen Keneally. That belongs to blogger Tim Blair. I wish I thought of it myself, but yeah, it's a good name. And of course, the initials of Christina Karen Keneally is KKK. Her middle name starts with a K.
You're joking me.
Yeah.
It's one of these secret fucking, all these radical left-wing people, Tim. They're all just, they're the real Nazis. We've been saying it for years. But
they're the ones who've introduced the police states all over the Western world to fight a virus.
They're out of control. It's like we have a police state and then we have the thought police. There's no end to the extent of the reach of this fucking government, It's out of control. But I'm so glad that they amended that, whatever you call it, a bill or a statement in the parliament. I don't know what the technical name of it, but it's like I can agree with that. And how they said they were like, oh, no, the social media has caused conspiracy theories and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, right. People are way more exposed to different ideas on social media. Like this. And different opinions. Now we're hearing different opinions. This is the problem, Tim. It's actually bullshit because you know what? When you're before social media, I heard all the fucking conspiracy theories too, and people were just having a beer and talking shit. And the only difference is now they're all fucking spying on us, and they're all got that little gay, fucking people fed posting, and then everyone's, oh my God, I'm so woke. I'm screenshotting people's whatever jokes or memes, and they're like, this is extremism, or someone shares an article about some.
If you were an actual Asia or AFP officer whose job was it to scour social media of so-called far-right extremists, it must be a pretty boring job because there's not much there.
Oh, what are you going to be doing? Looking at memes and fucking shit jokes, and
they might actually get a chuckle themselves out of it.
They probably will.
Be like that's pretty funny.
Yeah, probably be the best job ever. It's so this is the thing, the lefties who are all on the dole. There's I reckon the right wing and left wing extremists.
Well, you would say that they receive a lot of money from the government. It might not be the dole, but some arts grants or something like that. A uni, they're studying their a uni degree, 1 unit per semester or something.
Yeah. Or they're on a disability fucking pension. I don't know what these people do, but I'll tell you what, these people have a lot. The people who are extremists are the people who are sitting on their ass all day, nothing better to do than being fucking stupid social media chats, reading about conspiracy theories and brainwashing themselves with idiotic ideas. Instead of being normal people and, if you have a fucking job, you're probably going to get called a fuckwit or an idiot 10 times, 20 times in the week. You'll be bantering with people. You'll be sledging each other, winding each other up, stirring the pot. It's perfectly normal. You don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for this shit. I got my baby boy. I'm a bit tired. Look at me. Usually I'm asleep by now, Tim. You know what I mean? But these people on the dole who are the extreme right-wing and left-wing extremists of this nation, they're just the dole blood just sitting on the internet all day, I see it on my chats. I see it on Telegram. I'm like, what do these people do all day? They just
especially the people who I've spoken before about the people who are obsessed with my shows and that, and they're always speculating about the internals of either my professional or personal life. And like, if you want to enjoy some if you like reality TV, just watch one of those shows on the Arena Network or something. Why do you have to live through me? I'm not aiming to be a reality star.
Yeah, they're like more. Some of our trolls are more invested. I swear, I got trolls who are more invested in my chat than me. They're posting in my chat more than me. Like, they're taking it more fucking serious than I am. They can't sit down, have a beer, and have a laugh and read the news and be like, they don't read the news or read articles and say it's bullshit. They believe it. They believe every fucking conspiracy. They believe every mainstream news article.
Yeah, they believe that there's some sort of racist conspiracy theory to keep minorities down in Australia and the West, or to keep people who are on the poverty line poorer. They think there's some grand conspiracy by a big business linked to the Liberal Party to keep them all down. They believe in plenty of conspiracy theories, and they're always reading into decisions by conservative or right-wing governments to say, oh, I've got this theory that the reason they're making this is because of this. How about all the Murdoch derangement syndrome that they have, that the reason why the public vote for centre-right governments more than centre-left governments is not because they do a better job, is because of the damn Murdoch media.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. And I've heard the extreme paranoia about, like, it's like, defund the ABC. And they'll be like, without the ABC, there'll be no fair media. It won't be fair. And I'll be like, well, what's stopping left-wing people engaging in creating a fucking YouTube channel or any of this to put out their opinions or their ideas? I've had my father-in-law. He's a real union guy. He'll have like the CFMEU stickers up on his fucking the back of his ute, and he'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm so fucking paranoid that the ABC is going to be taken down or defunded." Without that, it'll be only right-wing media. And I'll be like, why? I'm like, I have a YouTube channel. I share my opinion and talk shit about my opinion as much as I like. Why can't a left-wing person do the same? And they're like stumped. They're like, oh, I don't know. I'd be like, yeah, I know exactly. And if I can do it for almost $0, the ABC has now become redundant. Let the power of social media fill the void and save the Australian taxpayers $1 billion. You fucking losers. If you really believe in it, fucking do it yourself.
You mentioned the CFMMEU. Have you heard of their new ad against the Morrison government's proposed industrial relations flexibility laws? They have Scott Morrison driving an omnibus to run over workers.
No shit, I've missed it. I need to pull that one up.
And the irony is,
I thought the CFMEU, like, was it in this Queensland election? They're like, we're not backing the Labor Party.
Well, they didn't like Jackie Trad, and she's out of politics for now. There's all this speculation she might run for a seat or the Senate at the federal level.
Jackie, fuck, she'd be spewing the Greens took over her seat. They'd be like, I think it's an extreme, some dude who's like a climate change alarmist. One of these Extinction Rebellion.
The Greens member for South Brisbane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy McMahon. She looks like the most stereotypical Greens person you've ever seen. She has the short dyed hair and the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
There's something wrong. What color is the hair dye?
I think it's sort of reddish. It's got a bit of everything.
Ah, there you go. That's a danger warning signal. It's like the poisonous. It's like see a poisonous snake or spider, Tim, and it has some fucking outrageous color on it. Same as these vegan left wing women. You know what I mean? You're just like, whoa, stay away from that venomous fucking creature.
So you mentioned the claim that if the ABC gets defunded, there's no left-wing media anymore. Well, there's Crikey, the New Daily, which is funded by the trade union super funds. There's Junkie, Pedestrian TV. There's The Guardian. There's also lists can go on.
Damn, I don't even know any of these. I know The Guardian is the only name out of all.
Gizmodo, that's another one.
The 7 p.m. project.
Yeah, the project it is now. The Unshackled's Fake News of the Year award. We concluded our annual Unshackler Awards on Australia Day. The project won the Fake News of the Year award, which I think is apt.
When did the project start? Like, I remember thinking, I don't know, say I finished school in 2005, 15 years ago. Now, there was a time where I would watch the project and I didn't know. It was just like maybe everything was going over my head. Or is there a distinct time where the project went weird and like throwing like left-wing vibes thrown out? Or has it always been that way? Because
it definitely got, as it got more popular, it got worse. I mean, it was so close to being cancelled when it first started as the 7 p.m. project, as you said, but Channel 10 decided to stick with it. But even now, based on its ratings and all the cutbacks at Channel 10, it should be cancelled or significantly scaled back. Paying Lisa Wilkinson, was it $2 million a year for one night's work on the Sunday project?
Damn, that's crazy. That's a lot of money. I'm in the wrong. I need to like woke this shit up, Tim Wilms.
You know that $2 million. Fun fact, you know that Lisa Wilkinson is married to Bandana Man, Peter Fitzsimons?
Yeah, I know. And that dude's just a fuckwit. He hates
and
he hates my boy Israel Folau.
He's always wrong about everything. He's lost every. Remember, he campaigned against the Berejiklian government during the 2019 state election, wanting to save the two stadiums in Sydney. Berejiklian won, and he's also the new chair of the Australian Republican movement, which means you can guarantee that Australia is going to remain a constitutional monarchy for however long he's in charge of it for.
Yeah, that dude's a fuckwit. I can't believe, like, she seemed like a good sort. Like, in her younger years, she's quite a beautiful woman, very nice. And then I found out she's with that fucking loser with this stupid bandana on his head. Like, get rid of the bandana. Just fucking show me your ugly bald head, you prick. Like, it's okay. Like, no one actually cares. You know, the problem is he's got something. Whenever I see a bandana like that on someone's head, I think you got something to lose. Oh, you got something to hide. You know what I mean? What's the fucking problem?
Well, at least he could, when the mask mandate came in, could just use the bandana as a face mask.
And is a bandana socially acceptable? Is a bandana? We bring back the cowboy days, Tim, where everyone's got a bandana over their face. Is that a acceptable alternative to a mask or what?
Well, it was acceptable in Victoria when the mask mandate first came in. You could wear a bandana, but now it has to be a fitted face mask. That's the terminology.
Are you fucking joking me? Now, bandanas around the face isn't that bad. You know, they kind of look a bit cool. They look fucking cool. But yeah, so they fucked that up as well.
Yeah, the Versace cowboy who is in our chat, he wears a bandana over his face.
Nice. And so this, what's the dude's name? Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons. Yeah, and he's gone against our boy Israel Folau, who's apparently going to be making a comeback.
Yeah, wants to play NRL, but he's reportedly agreed to a social media gag order on his contract.
Yeah, he's agreed to a social media gag, or he's like can't post about anything. Obviously, anything to do with the LGBT.
Oh, well, he would probably only be allowed to post stuff to do with the NRL.
All right.
I reckon that would be the case, but yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to preach.
He can't. Nah, surely he can preach his faith. He just can't He can't just say anything that's He just has to choose the scriptures a bit more New Testament. I guess even the New Testament is not woke enough. You know what I mean?
I remember he was the only player in the European Rugby Union League to not take the knee for Black Lives Matter, even though he's a brown person himself. And that's been another downer of the cricket this summer. All the cricketers taking the knee before the game, and then they step on that Aboriginal that banner on the ground or something, that really weird thing.
I must have missed that one. What do? They have some ritual where they stand on some Aboriginal
that they stand barefoot in front of some sort of banner.
Yeah, right. I fucking must have missed that one. But I think it's great that Israel Folau didn't take the knee for Black Lives Matter. It just shows you that people have he's got his own mind and his own way of thinking, and he kind of sees he's got his tradition and his culture, and he's not going to fucking capitulate. He doesn't have to be. You don't have to be an asshole about it. I'm a Christian too, and I think
it's called being fire and brimstone. That because obviously his sinners post, the one that got him into the ultimate trouble, which led to his contract being torn up. It was you would say fire and brimstone, quite. You would say in your face. Having said that, it shouldn't have led to him lost his job.
Bit more, if to understand the kind of Christian culture or the concept that was trying to be portrayed in that post. Jesus said, speaking to Pharisees who are, they're kind of like the social justice warriors of today who look down their nose at all of us and we're not good enough. We're all racist and homophobe and fucking transphobic and climate change denials, whatever, add to the fucking list. Right, and they look down their nose at us and they judge us. And Jesus was Jesus was actually talking to them people who were using the law or the self-righteousness to puff themselves up and look down their nose at people. Like Jesus said to them people, they called them Pharisees, who were the religious law experts, like the social justice warrior experts, And he said to them, you say you've never committed adultery. But I say, if you look at a woman with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. You say you've never committed murder, but you look at your neighbor in anger, and if you look, and you look at your brother, your neighbor with anger, it's as though you've committed murder. So there's like, Israel Folau could have said that. And it's condemning, it's kind of condemning us all and making us go, yeah, that's right. I'm in my heart and mind, we're all have anger and lust issues. So it's like bringing about a conscious humility in our consciousness. You know what I mean? So, like, was that the purpose of Israel Folau's post? I'm pretty sure that's the genuine cultural idea to.
Well, you're the Christian here, not me, so you can obviously shed more light on it than I.
Humility.
I'm just explaining how it was
great. That's
seen by a lot of the normies.
Yeah, so the PC people, once again, I mean, and I kind of agree. Like I just said, that statement that I just said that Jesus said, almost 100% quoting him, not quite. But you understand the concept, Tim. You understand the concept. The concept of what Jesus is trying to portray or put out to people is it's like consciously being humbling ourselves instead of looking down our noses at people, and being realistic to our own thoughts and being like, if I was in that person's shoes, I've already thought anger and lust and all these terrible things. Just because I haven't taken that step, you haven't been in that situation. You could be that person. Stop judging these people. You're not in their shoes. You're not in their situations. You know what I mean? So a bit of humility.
Yeah.
And then being like, yo, isn't that the whole concept? I think that's the concept. I think that's the whole thought process. And that thought process creates a better person and creates a better environment for us all, better community for us to all live in. You know what I mean? So, like, Israel Folau should have, I believe he should have been like, been a bit more selective, because it's like trying to explain what Israel Folau.
Even Margaret Court said he could have been more diplomatic, and of course she's just as big a target of the far left activists' wrath. They all couldn't stand that she got the highest Australia Day honour and an AC, but Margaret Court, she hardly has, because all those sermons from her Victory Life Church are available online. She's hardly ever mentions LGBT issues. She's just talked about safe schools, how that is just a terrible program, and quite rightly. But if you watch her Victory Life Church sermons, it's full of theology and calls to prayer. So they just focus on what she says occasionally, or hardly anything about this one social issue.
And I'm pretty sure that she was like in the news of recent. Did they give her some award or something?
Yeah. I just said that the highest order of Australia honour, the AC, which is a companion of
and they're all cracking the shit. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. What is that?
What happened to multiculturalism? Because isn't Christianity a culture and a tradition?
Oh, but it's got to be the right type of Christian views.
So it's not even Christian, because it's like, it's just a huge lie. The multiculturalism is a huge lie, because if you want real multiculturalism, it's like hard opinions and traditions that people have that do not translate across different, like the Buddhist and the Hindu, they do not agree. They don't agree with one another. The Jew and the Muslim, they don't agree. The Christian, I don't agree with the Jew. The Jew thinks I'm wrong. I think the Jewish dude's wrong. We all think we all disagree with each other, and our traditions and cultures are exclusive in our beliefs.
There's not allowed to be disagreement from the orthodoxy these days. What did we see? Kerry O'Brien, that veteran ABC journalist, refused an Australia Day honour because Margaret Court got the highest one, and also was that transgender Chinese doctor in Canberra, who I'd never heard of before, handed back their Order of Australia award to make a statement.
What a joke. What a joke. I can't believe that.
We should talk about in the final 15 minutes of the stream what's happening over in the US with the MAGA Republicans. They're certainly pushing back against the establishment. GOP is trying to retake control of the party post-Trump presidency. There was the big showdown in the Republican Congressional Party room today between Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's that new MAGA congresswoman from Georgia, and Liz Cheney, who is obviously, as by her name, is the daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney, and a massive warmonger, a globalist, internationalist. She voted to impeach Trump. Sadly, Liz Cheney wasn't stripped of her third in command of the House Republicans, but it's good to see the MAGA Republicans. They're pushing back.
The MAGA Republicans, I like that, Tim. That's a good name.
Well, I call them the MAGA Republicans because they shouldn't be called the Trump Republicans, because that feeds into the perception that it's the Republican Party is now a Trump cult. The MAGA movement is going to continue beyond Trump.
That's right. This is another article we got here, and members of George W. Bush administration leave Republican Party, calling it.
Oh no, such a tragedy! I'm so sad that left.
You said it once. You said it, Tim. You just said it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not as I said. Like, it's not a Trump cult of personality. It's a MAGA movement, Make America Great Again. And as we've seen, there's plenty of successors to Trump as leaders of the MAGA movement. I mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's got the biggest target on her back from the Democrats and the mainstream media. Another good MAGA congressman is Matt Gaetz from Florida, and then also the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. He is absolutely excellent. He has kept Florida open during the pandemic, and he's also proposed a law to fine social media companies if they deplatform political candidates during elections.
Bang! It's all happening, Tim. It's still happening. They're not going to get rid of us. This is the thing. Like, even under Trump, right? They were deplatforming. They were fucking smearing the shit out of him, and everyone. We've had 4 years of it. We're battle hardened, and they think they're going to continue with their bullshit. People's eyes are opened up. People are awake now. They're unplugged from the matrix. There's enough of us now. You can't stop, like you said, the MAGA movement. It's not the Trump movement. It's not the ScoMo.
Trump's being quiet. Ever since he got deplatformed on Twitter, he's just retreated to Mar-a-Lago in West Palm Beach in Florida, and he set up the office of the former president, but he's largely stayed quiet.
He's chilled out, mate. He's probably playing some rounds of golf and fucking eating Big Macs and sipping on
he's still got his Trump empire, business empire to manage as well. I mean, that took a hit during the 4 years he was president, with all these companies vowing that they were never going to do business with him again. What is it? The banks tried to cancel him. So did the credit card payment processors, the email list managers, and now they're going after that My Pillow guy. They banned him. Mike Lindell banned him from Twitter.
It never ends. Well, I'm glad they're like joining the club, Tim. You know what I mean? I just think, well, I've been the Dusty Bogan has. I'm still here. We're still here, Tim.
They're still standing after everything.
We've been bombarded by this shit for years and years and years. Like hit pieces and deplatforming.
And
like
eventually these people, they blow their fuse with all these hit pieces, hopefully trying to break you or cuck you, and then once they blow their fuse, they're quiet for a while and try it with somebody else, and then they sort of try again. That's what they've sort of done with me, with sort of the occasional hit pieces, like they did with after I interviewed George Christensen. They blew their fuse trying to get him to cuck. Of course, George didn't. They blew their fuse on that, and then moved on to targeting somebody else.
Like every hit piece, they invented the 24-hour news cycle, not us. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck. It could be the fucking biggest tragedy on planet Earth. Like, aliens could fucking land tomorrow, and after a week of being here, they piss off, and it would be like a month later, not even a month, 2 days after the event, it's like it didn't even happen, Tim. So it's like they can write whatever fucking hit piece they want, and they can have a hit piece every week. But it's like 24 hours, half a day later, people don't give a fuck. People don't care.
It's only, as I call them, the blue drops on Twitter and the other echoers of their work on Twitter who give these stories any traction. I mean, the ordinary voter doesn't care about this stuff.
No. Who gives a fuck? No one even cares. We read it, and it's like I'll read it, and it's about me, and I'll be like, yay, I'm famous for 3 whole minutes, and then it's over, and then I'm like, fuck. Bitterly disappointed. Where's my next hit piece or something like that? And then you just fade it off into the distance again. Say, thanks, boys. That was fun. No, you've forgotten about it again. No one cares. No one cares. And they use us as clickbait, thinking.
Well, they use us to attack the people who are indirectly associated with us.
It's like the hit piece they did with me. They were like, Dusty interviewed Blair Cottrell, and Dusty also had him and his mates tricked Bob Catter into doing the Proud Boys first degree pledge.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal a couple of years ago.
So, but the thing is, when that article is all connected. The article's not about me. The article's about Bob Catter.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about trying to tie Bob Catter to Blair Cottrell. That's what it's about.
The 6 degrees of separation, and that's what they tried to do with linking Christensen to me, linking me to Blair Cottrell, to say, look at this association. It's the most guilt by association, or indirect association, is the most pathetic form of trying to clutch at straws.
And it's just like I interviewed Blair Cottrell, the white supremacist. Apparently, I don't.
Well, that's why they call him.
I don't know that. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I barely had one conversation with the guy, and I gave him a fair crack, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. I don't know much about him. That was it. But 10 minutes later, Tim, I interviewed Warren Mundine, the Aboriginal fucking bloke. So am I an Aboriginal, Tim? Am I?
No. That means that Warren Mundine is linked to Blair Cottrell through you.
Oh,
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. That's right, absolutely. But they didn't mention Warren Mundine in the article, so
no. And like they always report this symbol as a white power symbol. It's no, you decided that it was a white power symbol. We just do it as the okay sign. This is the other thing. It's their interpretation of what we do. They claim that their interpretation is correct. Then our own view and interpretation of what we're doing. So you get to decide what I was doing was linked to. So I meant this, but because you decide I meant this, that's the truth. It's ridiculous.
You can have a fucking you can have this conversation, and they'll be like, they'll interpret it. They're the oracles of our society. You know what I mean? They could read the tea leaves. There was all these secret dog whistles in there. And
yeah, that's what they always... and that's what Sarah Ferguson on Four Corners, she kept trying to put her interpretations and assumptions about what Enrique or the Proud Boys meant by this. And he was just basically no, that's wrong. But she was trying to say that her interpretation of various things was correct than what they meant by them.
There's a devil under every rock, you know? It's like extreme paranoia. I'd say that is a sign of being mentally unhealthy. You know, when you jump to conclusions.
It's not just the gun. Well, it's not even jumping to conclusions. It's deliberate framing. Like, I'm going to frame what you did here as meaning this, even though that's not what you meant by doing that.
And this is when we start going down that rabbit hole. When people start doing that, they are screwed. Like, if you went, they must be like, as soon as they write that hit piece, as soon as they go after every demon under every rock, I just hope that they go, oh shit, I better delete my whole Facebook account, because they have to. They have to. Every private message, every conversation they ever had in their life, there better not be any jokes, no cheekiness, no having a laugh, none of this. No, you know, I had a conversation with this person. I fucking walked past this person, coughed on me, and now I'm them. Like,
well, if they coughed on you, then you've got to get a COVID test. That's what that means.
There you go. Maybe I'll have my double mask with a bandana over the top of it. Imagine if you had a bandana on, Tim, and you were like, they come up to you and they're like, you're not wearing a mask, and you pull your bandana off and there's a mask underneath. You're like, I was doing the right thing. I just didn't want to look like a fuckwit. I wore my bandana like a big Australia flag bandana.
Some breaking news before we end. Craig Kelly has just posted on Facebook a indirect link to what Professor Robert Clancy said about Craig Kelly's comments to Tanya Plibersek. So apparently he was supposed to be gagged, that he wasn't allowed to post about anything to do with the virus on Facebook. Well, he's posted indirectly about that there. So Craig certainly, I think it was a bit of, well, it was the fake news that has been after Craig Kelly that reported that he'd been dressed down by the Prime Minister and was banned from posting about hydroxychloroquine and Invalec on social media. So, I mean, are you going to leave what the fake news media said about the meeting between Craig Kelly and Scott Morrison?
Why aren't they using them medications if they potentially could help?
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
they use them at all? Or they're like, oh no.
Well, now that Trump's no longer president, they are using them more in the United States.
There you go. It's so funny. Like, isn't
Mm.
it a hard case? Like, I've heard the governor of New York being like, "Oh, we can't sustain these lockdowns. We need to open the economy, or there'll be nothing left." Great timing. Well, I reckon that's a wrap tonight, Tim.
Yeah, we
Thanks
started late. It's getting late, particularly here in Melbourne. Thankfully, during this time, there was no emergency Dan Andrews press conference like there was last night. So the mantra is no news is good news. And the other mantra is there's no news unless it's bad news.
Oh, that's pretty much it, mate. I think that's constantly what I'm saying. It has to be bad news. It's the drumming up the negativity, bombarding people's fucking brains with
fear. Fear sells.
It never.
And that's what they've done with this virus. Scare people shitless.
They've definitely tried, and I think people we had a safety meeting at work today, and they said, there's like a list of all the fucking things we have to do. It never ends. And then they were like, fucking bend at the knees when you're picking something up. Use a buddy lift. COVID rules. All that shit, he said. That's what he said. He's like, all that dog shit that you have to do about COVID. And I was like, did you hear that, boys? All them COVID dog shit rules we have to do. I'm like, this is the point. These people are taking it very serious. Now the inside establishment, the rule makers, are now had enough. They're having enough. People are fucking over it. People are waking up to the shit. They're like, fuck. They're just turning their TVs off.
We've just had, before we finish, some breaking news out from Victoria, not about the coronavirus, but the gay conversion therapy ban has passed the upper house, which doesn't just ban health practitioners from allegedly practicing it, but also bans religious groups and also infringes on parental rights as well.
Ooh, is that just in Victoria?
Yeah, it's just passed now.
Damn, more people are going to be flooding Queensland.
Well, Palaszczuk's got her own ban up there, but it only applies to health practitioners, doesn't infringe on freedom of religion or parental rights.
Yeah, right. So you can't be like, I don't know, if you have some kind of situation with a kid and you're like, oh, we'll pray for you, Jimmy.
Yeah, if Jimmy has gender confusion and you pray for them, that could potentially be a conversion breach, 10 years jail, $10,000 fine.
It's crazy. Well, I hope the churches understand what's going on because they
do, but yeah, they're powerless against the Andrews government machine.
So everyone has to toe the line. It's all you can do. I think it's like, I mean, what are the stats with like gay marriage anyway? Did 90% of the gay people get married or no?
No idea. We haven't really had those.
I don't think it went like crazily. I don't think it. This is the thing. They pass all these laws and they go, you can now have late term abortion, and it's like, well, how many actually happened? You can now have gay marriage. How many actually happened? You can now join the military and we'll pay for your sex change. Well, how many times did that actually happen? And it's like barely on the Richter scale. So they make all these stupid rules, and then it's just like, what the fuck was the point? What the hell? What is the agenda? What the hell's going on here? Doesn't make sense.
It makes sense if the people are motivated by cultural Marxist goals.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
Anyway, let's call it a night now.
All right, brother.
Good,
Thanks
good Thursday. Better late than not at all. And we had a decent audience for tonight, even though we're later.
Thanks heaps, everyone. Thanks, D-Live and YouTube. We'll catch us next week. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Dusty. Yep, see you next
Cheers,
week.
mate.
Yeah.